Here's to the finest crew in Starfleet.
When it comes to my crew, you won't get any argument from me.
This is a parody. Paramount owns the song. Welcome to The Greatest Generation. It's a Star Trek podcast by a couple of guys just a little bit embarrassed about having a Star Trek podcast. I'm Adam Pranica.
I'm Ben Harrison. Big episode today, Adam. We got the kickoff. I mean, the real kickoff. The temporal Cold War sort of soft launched in the pilot, but now we're making it official on Maine. And on top of that, we've got a bunch of packages to open, and we have to do a power hour today.
Yeah, lots to do. Why don't we get started, Ben? The sooner we do Code 47, the sooner we can get to drinking.
Précisément, mon frère. I think we should hold off on the drinking until we've opened all these things people were kind enough to send in.
Captain, I'm sorry to disturb you.
I'm receiving a code 47.
Verify.
It is code 47, sir. Starfleet emergency frequency.
Captain's eyes only.
First thing here is another one of these Star Trek postcards. We've gotten a few of these before. It's to Ben and Adam. Reading the back, it says, "Everyone knows that the Coco No-No scandal and the Naked Now incident came about because Adam loves to skirt the rules, but what my theory presupposes is the real issue is Ben's hyper-compliance." Whoa!
That description for you is incredible. I can't believe we didn't come up with that already.
How dare you? I hope that special episodes are fun to record. They're super fun to listen to. Thanks for all the great pod. Heart Cheeve. That's from Cheeve.
One of our good FOD buddies, the Cheeve, with an incredible observation and really, I think Ben's catchphrase.
I mean, my new catchphrase is, Cheeve, you're dead to me!
What a gift Cheeve has given us just now. Tremendous.
So the next packages we have here are kind of a matched set. And these are both from Defested, out of Parts Unknown.
He's always from someplace interesting, in my experience.
Yeah, I have a note here. Happy belated 8-year podiversary. As a podiversary present, here are some custom wax seals that I designed, printed, and painted. One with the show logo, one with the Starfleet insignia, and one with your initials. Here's to another 8 years of dick and fart jokes by two guys who are embarrassed to have, but who should also be incredibly proud of having excellent Star Trek podcasts. Defested.
What a nice thing to say.
A real talent on the 3D printer, Defested.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next package we have here is from Afton C. out of Arlington, Ma. We have a note. Dear Adam and Ben, just about a year ago, I was laid off from my dream job in sudden and devastating fashion. Finding myself with a lot of long, empty stretches of time to fill as I figured out what's next, I decided to finally listen through all of Greatest Gen after having dabbled in Greatest Trek when new shows were coming out. Trek has always been my comfort content. My beloved cat is even named Wesley. The cat?
I hate cats. Good, Wesley.
You're telling me the kitty cat?
So I figured, why not indulge? By the time you read this, I will have made it through all episodes everywhere. Yes, including Factory Seconds and the Santa Monica Mountains. They truly got me through. In some of your deep pandemic lockdown episodes, you made passing references to watching America's Test Kitchen as some of your comfort viewing. That is, in fact, the very employer who laid me off. Shakes fist.
Wow.
But it really touched me to know that in some small way I might have given you some comfort in difficult times too. Glad to report that today I am crushing it as a freelance recipe developer and have gotten my own food venture off the ground, and I've never been happier. Check out The Reader's Kitchen at thereaderskitchen.com and at The Reader's Kitchen on Instagram. Geared towards kids, but great recipes for everyone. I decided to send along some ATK swag for you. I don't need it anymore for obvious reasons. You'll have to fight over who gets what, but I hope these will bring you some joy and some Neelix-level flair in the galley. From one viewer to another, many thanks, Afton. Wow.
That's very cool from Afton, and I'm so relieved that the letter didn't end from Christopher Kimball, and my new project is Milk Street.
So Afton has included an ATK apron, just like Julia Collin Davidson wears on the TV.
Sure.
What else do we got here? Oh, man. America's Test Kitchen chicken timer.
Killer. Oh, you could use that for the power hour, Ben, and really piss off our producer.
How about no?
Well, thank you, Afton. Sorry about the layoff, but it sounds like you landed on your feet.
Yeah, I mean, when one door closes, another one opens, or something. That's how the saying goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while this may have been your dream job at the time, plenty of dream jobs lie ahead, I'm positive, so don't get too down on it. Onward.
Onward. Okay, we've got... This is one of those ones that seems to have been drop shipped from Amazon. So I'm going to open it and see if there's a note, and I don't think there is, but somebody has sent us some more dad books, I would say. This one is Lobocues and Spotted Dog. I'll read the back. Celebrate the joys of Patrick O'Brien's acclaimed Aubrey Maturin series and this delightful cookbook full of the food and drink that so often complement Jack Aubrey and Stephen Maturin's travels. So that's of Master and Commander. This is a cookbook of Master and Commander food.
Yeah, I've got to believe the recipe instructions are like, throw net into water and wait.
Try not to shoot ship's doctor while aiming at cormorant.
Shoot cannon at seagull.
If you sent that in, sorry, your whatever note you tried to get Amazon to include with that didn't get included, but thank you to whoever you are. We've got one last package here.
All right.
It's quite big. It's from Ramon LP4.
Oh.
Out of Houston, Texas.
Uh-huh.
This piece of cardboard with paper on it was stuck in the top of the box, and it says, instructions, enclosed. You will find a 2-page code 47. This document will prompt you as to when to open the packages. So now we've gotten to the pages themselves, and they are printed in LCARS format.
Uh-huh.
And we've got page 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, and they've been bagged and boarded like comic books.
Does that suggest to you that the contents inside this box are wet? Or at least a jelly consistency?
I think they're going to be. Dear Admiral Harrison and Ensign Pranica, thank you for your continued support of our expedition in the Shackleton Expanse. The Dauntless is currently on shore leave after the Klingon-Andorian hockey incident. The crew, as always, looks forward to your subspace communiques, which are a huge morale boost. During a patrol mission, we encountered a spectacularly breadbox Romulan commander who met with our senior staff in a rare moment of goodwill. The commander left behind a completely safe and benign package for you and said, "This is the only glitter bomb TM Admiral Harrison deserves. Package 1. Oh my god, I'm so nervous. But I know that Ramon LP4 is a cool friend of DeSoto.
This could be Ramon LP4's heel turn.
Really good. Okay, so first of many interior boxes here.
This is a real journey, Ramon LP4.
There's a breadboxed Admiral, a Romulan on the cover saying, Admiral Harrison, I believe you humans call this a glitter bomb. Go ahead, open it.
I just want to say, for the record, that it has been said several times that what is inside this is a glitter bomb.
Yeah.
And yet you proceed.
There's an internal box with Brad Pitt's face begging to know what's in the box.
Ben, you should call your wife immediately.
What's in the fucking box?
And now there's another interior box that says what could possibly go wrong, and it appears to be an image of an explosion taking place.
Ben, what are you doing?
And inside, a Blu-ray copy of the smash hit Mariah Carey film, Glitter.
I never thought I'd be so happy to see that in our lives. Wow, what a relief.
I mean, I guess it was kind of a bomb, right? It didn't do super well at the box office, did it?
It's a glitter bomb.
It's a glitter bomb, literally. Figuratively. Terrence Howard was in this movie, presumably before he reinvented maths.
You know, a lot of his ideas make sense.
Yeah.
Is he on the commentary track? I think I'd like to listen to that.
Yeah, it sounds good. Thank you, Ramon LP4, for not destroying my office.
So there's a second package in there, and the letter is going to go on to introduce that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So I continue to read. I also understand that congratulations are in order for Ensign Pranica, whose duty record has been exemplary.
I want to go on record as saying that I resent that you're Admiral and I'm Ensign in this scenario.
Hey, man.
I would never serve as an ensign in your fleet, Ben.
Heavy lies the crown. It's a lot of pressure up here at the top.
I'm sure.
Count your blessings that you got that bunk and very few responsibilities.
I prefer admirals with calendaring skills.
Despite dodging Coco Nonos and various pizza heists, Ensign Branica's commitment to Starfleet ideals and bits inspires all ensigns everywhere. It is my great honor to bestow to you something Harry Kim can only dream of and Garrett Wong can never win in an auction. Package 2.
How about this? Which Blu-ray DVD will this be?
It's a little bit too small to be a Blu-ray DVD. We're talking 3 decks of cards stacked on each other size box here.
God, I'm just looking at myself on camera. I really have bacon collar, don't I? What happened to this collar?
I don't know, man.
I look like shit. And I'm about to look shittier after this power hour.
You're getting so swole. Your huge neck is probably ripping up your shirts as you put them on these days.
I'm just gonna throw this shirt away after I barf all over it. The end of this power hour. I got weird plans for this one, Ben.
My wife saw me loading up my little 6-pack cooler to take out to the office, and she was like, "You have been so sick lately. If you get sick again, no sympathy, no help."
No guard tower. No electronic frontier.
I mean, how is that any different from any other day? See, that is something I would have said that you would never say, and
yeah,
good restraint by you.
I didn't get in a fight before getting on mic today. We have a little jewel box here, Adam. I'm going to hold it up to the camera and open it.
You going to get down on one knee?
Wow.
I've been promoted. I've been promoted to solid dot and circle around dot.
Yeah, I guess that's, what is that, Lieutenant Junior grade?
I think so.
Rank pips?
God, I love that. I'd love to put them around my totally baconated collar.
Beautiful. There's a little light in this jewel box, Adam.
I like that a lot. That's cool.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Classy as hell, Ramon LP4.
The work that went into this.
It's amazing.
It's so incredible. I'm so grateful to the FODs out there who put any sort of effort in at all to tell us how much they like the show. Amazing.
The letter goes on, speaking of the dream, package 3. We're already into package 3.
How many packages are there again?
Looks like at least 4.
Oh,
but this is 3A.
Oh, God.
It says, live the dream, be the Hasselhoff.
Sure.
Oh, and 3B is inside here, but let's open 3A first.
That's only right.
Yeah. There's a note on this. It says, you hold a rare print copy of Beach Patrol, though Tiny D6 does still sell the ebook version. Read it, learn it, live it. Seriously, it's a lot of fun, especially as a one-shot with friends. I bookmarked a few things to give you a flavor of what the tone of this game is, and I hope you enjoy and treasure it as the Santa Monica holodeck sim you've always dreamed of. Also, be sure to give a shout-out to author Alan Barr. He did some great work here. P.S. I left you a flash drive with the PDF version that came with the book, and some other related files that are available on Tiny D6's website. So this looks like it is some kind of tabletop role-playing game based on Baywatch, the tabletop RPG of sun, surf, and safety.
That sounds great. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed playing this even more than TMNT back in the day.
Oh. There's all these great illustrations in here, too.
Oh, I like those.
Lots of hunks and babes. I'm sure lots of nuck. If we ever have an off night with my dungeon party,
you got to do it.
Maybe I'll invite you out and we could get a game of this going, Adam.
Sounds great.
All right, we're gonna open 3B now, And the 3B package is an image of Picard attempting to relax on Risa. This is kind of a VHS tape size box for those listening at home. Oh, man. These are little mini painted figurines for playing Dungeons and Dragons of Baywatch.
Now you're going to need those.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love the little chest compression rescue scenes at the end there.
The thing about having a collection of those is that you can use them for any type of board game, and you should use them for any type of board game. Can you imagine playing Ticket to Ride with those guys? It's the only way I'd want to play that fucking game. More like Settlers of Baywatch.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that could redeem that boring evening that I'll never get back.
Settlers of Rattan.
Uh-huh. Love it.
Beach chair.
God, spectacular. Hey, looks like I opened a gift from you just then, Ben.
During your last communique with the Dauntless, Lieutenant Junior Grade Pranica remarked that our last Priority 1 message was totally impenetrable. Episode, Her Shoulders Are Not Unbig. To decrease misunderstandings, we have attached 2 pads for strictly educational purposes. If the USS Shimoda finds itself in the Shackleton Expanse, you are always welcome aboard the Dauntless. Package 4.
Appreciate that.
We should have just done one Code 47 with this.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good move.
Impenetrable, you say? Very well then. Experienced star, puny humans. Is what? I think that's Gowron. That looks like Gowron, right? Saying on the,
Oh, you gotta be right, Ben, because you're on video.
kind of a grainy, like, photocopy of his face. Leave me alone, nerds. Oh, man.
It's Star Trek Adventures.
Yeah, this is the role-playing game that Ramon LP4 must be playing.
I think that's a game that you could play with the Baywatch figurines, no?
Oh, yeah. You kidding?
Your DM has got the little map on your card table. You start moving those guys around.
There's a sub-box in here of the time they played a D&D-like game on Lower Decks. Wow, thank you so much. So I'll just finish this this message quickly. The entership from her captain, Jeff, to our security chief, Lieutenant Commander Zala, Ruth, to our chief engineer, Lieutenant Eru Russ, Kristen, to our helmsman, Lieutenant Tior, Ansel, to our science officer, Lieutenant Temu Mun, Joe, to our chief medical officer, Dr. Latha, Ramon LP4, and the rest of our crew, Kyle. Love your show and the effort you, Wendy, and Bill put into making it not only a great listening experience, but one of the best communities a Trek fan can ask for. You easily transform the tough days into moments of brightness and elevate the already good days into extraordinary heights. Because of this community, shout out to FOD20, Dungeons and Dragons and DeSoto and Shimoda. We are approaching our 3rd anniversary of adventuring together every Wednesday. It is more often than not the highlight of our week to discuss all treks everywhere, seek and receive encouragement no matter how harebrained the idea, and be guaranteed big laughs and big fun. Spanning 5 different time zones, we have been able to carve out this small group of friends thanks to the communities you've inspired. Thank you, Captain Kellyan and the crew of the USS Dauntless, NCC 56278. Wow.
Amazing.
Super, super cool.
That feels so good to hear. These friend groups forming.
And just like a monumental effort went into putting this box together, and we just couldn't appreciate it more. Like all the people that love this show enough to send in something for one of these Code 47s. You absolutely rule. Good looking out. And now Adam and I have to destroy our parties for comedy.
As our way of thanking you, we're going to make the worst kind of show. Ben, at the end of the last episode, we landed on a Mornhammered square at the Game of Buttholes, which means that for the next 60 minutes, every minute on the minute, we will be drinking a shot of a beverage. Let's tee up what those beverages are going to be, Ben, before we get our situations situated. What are you going to be drinking today?
Bit of a grab bag. I had just some beers left over in the storage area from a party that we threw last summer. And I figured first in, first out, I should probably not serve those to people that are coming by for upcoming summer backyard gatherings. And so I've got one Imperial IPA from the Sierra Nevada company.
Oh, dude, why?
And then I've got like 2 Modelo Especials and
Perfect.
a few Tecates.
Wow. So you kind of have the bomb can in your bag.
Yeah. And I think my strategy is going to be go IPA first, just to
Absolutely.
really start myself off strong, as it were.
Ben, I had a cache of viewer sent in beers that I've been saving.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I did. I filled up my Green Bay Packers insulated bag with a bunch of ice and ice packs, and I took 6 cans and put them in there. 5 of them are viewer send-in cans from the breweries that they either work at or are big fans of that they wanted us to try. One of those cans is Finish Long Drink, because I want that to be like the reward can, because I feel like they all may be pretty tough. I'm not so much of a beerman anymore, but I wanted to respect the gifts that were sent in by FODs. So I'm going to randomly put my hand into the cooler and pick out can after can successively. Some of them are tall cans. Some of them are short cans. Ben, I'm going to leave it up to you what size of can I'm pulling out, because I know my hands can tell the difference. You know what I'm saying?
I'd say just grab a can and pull it, you know?
All right. Sounds good to me.
Let's get into Season 1, Episode 11, Cold Front.
Ben, so we've prepared a little bit, our birdies, for this experience. I saw you took a prophylactic hydration shot.
Yeah.
For my part, I had a big bowl of homemade potato salad and a half a sandwich to kind of put down a really thick base layer.
That sounds good.
A lot of water all morning.
Yeah.
And hoping to just get my way through it. Definitely going to take a Broad vitamin at the end of this, I think, to top it all off.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to get my first can.
Okay.
From Skeleton Key Brewery.
All right.
It is a toasted coconut golden ale.
La-di-da.
Skeleton Key Brewery, of course, is from the great state of Illinois, Woodridge, Illinois.
I'm starting with that Imperial IPA from Sierra Nevada Brewing.
I have wrapped my can in a can koozie, branded with our show's logo, available now at podshop.biz.
Good idea. Always a good idea.
Oh, shit. My first shot overflowed. I already drank half of it, but let's hit the Burton together.
Okay. This is the Let's Go button on powerhour.beer. 3, 2, 1. Oh boy, that's loud.
Ben, it's a B-Dunk sap.
It is.
How excited were you to see that credit?
Very excited. Always nice to see our boy B-Dunks in the director's chair. We start with a Suliban getting schismed. He is in big trouble because after the events of the pilot episode of this program, he left the Klingon Empire undestroyed, and his ghostly boss is very cross at him over this.
And he's got a hench in the room with this big wand.
Yeah.
I don't like the implications of the wand, do you?
It looks like a kind of like medieval clip show device, doesn't it?
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
This guy, I believe is the same guy, right? Silic was our guy from the pilot, and he is in trouble.
And he's of the species where it's not like when you add superpowers to him, they stay forever and it's cumulative. You can add and take stuff away from this guy, and that's the implication here. He's going to get his supervision taken away and maybe restored if his next mission is successful.
It's like he's being punished.
Well, he did a bad job. The Klingon Empire remains, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, but like I make this podcast every week and I don't get my vision made worse.
The only way to improve things around here would be an increase of punishments.
Absolutely.
You knew there would be consequences.
Please, I won't disappoint you again.
So we cut over to the entrepreneur, and Hoshi and Mayweather catch each other in the hallway. It was family movie night last night. Hoshi missed it. Mayweather thought that the movie was whack.
This has got to be a reference to B-Dunks' character, right? And his enthusiasm for old-timey movies. Night of the Killer Androids fucking sucks. Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
How do you like your beverage so far?
I mean, I definitely see the advantage of a crushable porch beer for this purpose.
Uh-huh. I like the flavor of mine quite a bit. It's just a potato salad problem at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Easy is what's going on in the captain's mess. We got a crewman Daniels in there serving breakfast. Hey, we know Daniels. Hey, Daniels we learned of in the series finale of Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
This guy is supposed to be that guy.
He is. No spoilers. If you haven't seen Star Trek Discovery, which you should. It's great.
He, for being a lowly scrambled eggs person, like that's his rank. Crewman Daniels. Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled egg specialist.
He's emboldened to ask the captain of the ship some questions about the mission and the ship's course and whatever, and Archer seems obliged to indulge this.
Mm-hmm.
He explains that the ship's headed to a stellar nursery because a bunch of other ships have gathered there. Seems like a good reason to go check it out.
Go give him a zup. And when they pull up to this stellar nursery, Archer cold calls an alien. And again...
This never goes well.
It doesn't go well. I really like the guy's affect here because he's like, why are you calling me?
Pleased to meet you. What do you want?
But I just wished Archer would have been like, well, you picked up the phone, man. If you're not available to receive a call, like, just don't answer, you know?
It seems like for the first time, a captain on the other end is immediately bored with Archer in a way that he's not trying to cover up.
Yeah.
He explains he's just on an Uber mission. His passengers are just some religious folks who are out to see the beginning of the universe according to their beliefs. It's funny, like, Archer doesn't pick up how disinterested this guy is all the way through the asking him to dinner portion. Like, if any normal person was having this conversation with someone they had just met, no one would ever invite this person to dinner. You would understand through context clues and just the general mood of things, not an invitation you should extend.
Imagine just being out in deep space and an alien species you've never encountered before, like, blows in a cold call and is like, hey, we'd like to have you over for dinner. Wouldn't that be like a terrifying premise?
If you're the ship's chef, do you hate Archer for this? Because he seems to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Come over and have a meal. Our chef is great, and he's going to figure out the perfect thing to serve you. I don't know how that's going to happen. We just met.
Captain Fraddock is like, I'm going to pass, but I will extend your invite to my passengers. They might be interested. And pretty soon, the transport ship is docking with the entrepreneur, and these, like, religious pilgrim guys are coming aboard.
I lost so much money on this bet because when Captain Fraddock's like, yeah, maybe I'll tell the folks on board or whatever. We'll see what happens. For the very next scene to have been, he did do that. And these folks are interested. And they're on the way. I just did not see this coming.
We meet Pra-Mentus, who is somewhat of a leadership figure among these religious people.
But it's not something you can figure out by looking at them. It's not like the robe of this color is specifically the leader or whatever. These folks just sort of appear and start talking.
Yeah, there are a bunch of different types of aliens among this group.
Are there really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. There was a guy with spiky face. There were guys with more loaf, guys with less loaf.
I just didn't see the differences between them.
Jesus, Adam. I don't know if you want to admit that on mic.
You know, you get a half toasted coconut golden ale in me. I'm liable to spill my darkest secrets.
There goes Uncle Adam again. A gift is proffered. It's called Vu Centil, and it's a spiritual booze that you're supposed to drink ahead of this neutron blast that they're waiting for. helps like make the experience more lively.
It's a cream that kind of numbs everything for a while. Ben, you're a person who I would consider to be a great dinner guest, and not just because you tend to bring things when you're invited places. Are you a 2-gift bringer? I thought this was over the top. Yeah. Bring one thing. Bring one thing only.
That's all you need. I feel like, 2 things is flashy and unnecessary.
Especially if you're in a big group. 2 things is like, fuck the rest of the guests. I am 2-gift Adam.
It's always like a bottle of wine and then like, why are you holding that pineapple like that?
It's a bottle of wine and numbing cream.
So this stellar nursery that they are at is where the universe began, according to their sacred text. And Phlox is really excited about this whole situation. We learned in this episode that Phlox is a bit of a tourist of religion. He's like learned a ton about the religions of Earth and Vulcan in his travels, and he's really excited to be able to experience whatever these guys are up to. He's like the Marla Singer from Fight Club of Star Trek Enterprise.
You big tourist, I need this. Now get out!
Wow. What a comp. Which means when he goes over to that ship for the sleepover, he was fucking.
Yeah, we have no idea if he still has his testicles or not, you know?
Dr. Phlox seems like a great party attendee because he seems to have a wide variety of knowledge that's just great. Like, it's snack size for conversations like this.
Right. He's listened to like a lot of episodes of This American Life. And a few of Radiolab, you know?
What does Captain Archer believe?
I guess you could say I try to keep an open mind.
If you're the captain, it's probably best not to say. And he doesn't, really.
Yeah.
So that's good.
There does seem to be some hope among these people that Archer might see the truth of their faith over the course of this experience and join them.
I mean, I was rooting for that because it may mean that he would leave the ship and the show. When Phlox volunteers to go over, I'm like, don't leave us, Phlox. I need you.
Up on the bridge, something goes amiss with the starboard targeting sensor, causing Malcolm Reed to have to leave. This is another one of those scenes in Star Trek Enterprise that isn't to do with the episode and isn't even to do with like the sea storyline. It's just like, hey, let's like stretch some taffy on the bridge for a second, see what goes on there.
You know what it is? Let's make Mayweather happy. That's what this scene is.
Yeah.
And after the moments we've gotten over the last few episodes, I'm all for it. Love seeing this guy happy.
Yeah.
He may be the happiest crew person on board next to Dr. Phlox.
Yeah.
Who's got a bigger smile, Dr. Phlox or Mayweather?
Mayweather, and he's not even using performance-enhancing drugs.
Let me ask you something. When you get off on pretending to be captain, is that capsturbation? And in this case, Mayweather's been caught capsturbating, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Get out of that chair, Mayweather.
Yeah.
Mayweather starts like putting a bag over his head. He relieves Hoshi and the rest of the bridge crew like right then and there.
I feel like Geordi got a moment like this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe Sulu got a moment like this at some point.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a Star Trek tradition to get the junior guy like, hey, technically you're in command of the ship right now. You want to try that out?
I mean, it's a chair made of carrots is what it is. You give the lowest guy in rank something to go for. That's the chair.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Mayweather seems to enjoy it. Not just the view, but the comfort.
Think anyone would mind if I fired a torpedo?
The energy when Reed comes back and catches the capsturbation in progress is very uncomfortable. Very weird, too, since he did like leave Mayweather in charge and gave no indication of how long he'd be gone.
I think it's very telling that Mayweather clears the chair, but Reed doesn't go sit afterward.
Right. I mean, he wasn't in the chair before, so who knows? Anyways, there's a tour group getting taken around the ship. Trip is giving them a rundown of the warp core, and there's a spiky face guy that is really on top of how this thing works, and turns out he's a warp field theorist, and it's like giving a tour of your home kitchen to a chef. And this is the oven where we heat things up indirectly.
It's the docent at the Natural History Museum giving a tour to a bunch of paleontologists. Like, it's bad. It's a bad feeling. I don't feel good about Trip Tucker in this moment.
Yeah. I mean, Trip is rightly proud of his warp core, but these guys come from other species. They might have way better warp cores. You don't know.
Hey, who's that guy, though? That mysterious man goes around a corner and he rips out a coiled telephone cable from inside a compartment, and then he goes back to the tour. What's that about?
I don't know.
Don't love that. This is why you have two docents, Ben. You have one leading the show, and you have one picking up the rear.
Oh, yeah. You want like a plainclothes docent keeping an eye on things.
That's my favorite show title in a long time. You know what? Next time I go to a museum, I'm going to be on the lookout. And if I'm positive that one doesn't exist, I'm going to suggest that at the information desk. You know?
Yeah. So we're up on the bridge, and they pick up that there's a plasma storm that we need to go around and not through. I thought for sure that this is where the warp engineer guy who unplugged the cable was trying to fuck them with, was like, oh, like they're not going to be able to steer the ship right now, and they're going to go through this fucking plasma storm. They got no choice.
It feels very commercial airline related. Like they got to go around this thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going back into the bag for my next can, Ben.
I see that. We are coming up on our 18th shot of beer here, closing in on the 1/3 mark.
This one is from Sante Adarius Rustic Ales in Capitola, California. Of course, I'm talking about Sara Rustic Ales. Flowers at Dusk, Dark Lager.
Wow.
Is what this is. 4.7% alcohol by volume, and this one's going back into the koozie. Just vacated by the last one.
Right on, right on.
Oh, it's so dark. Holy shit, the foam is... Do you see how dark this foam is? It looks like chocolate pudding.
Oh, man, that looks like the crema on top of an espresso.
Oh, it's... Oh. That sounds like a sound that someone makes when they don't like a thing, but I promise you that's the sound I made at just the surprise of back-to-backing the toasted coconut ale and this dark... Oh, my God. It is like Hershey syrup. It's so dark.
Oh, man.
I wish I started with this, Ben.
Yeah, you've got a few shots to catch up on.
All right.
Ben's hyper-compliance. Whoa!
Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah.
If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
Compliance.
Yeah. Don't thank me or anything.
The bangers start dropping, and like Archer has to call up to the bridge to ask what's up.
Oh, I'm De Niroing over here.
Adam is De Niroing.
I'm wiping my spilled beer on my desk with a bunch of Kleenexes.
Yeah.
They never give you any napkins in this place. What am I supposed to use?
You drank it! You drank it. They have to kind of like put the tour on pause while Archer runs up to the bridge to look into this. And, you know, we get bangers all around. We even get a Daniels react to bangers.
Like that.
Heavily implying that Daniels will continue to be a concern in this episode. And they get kind of a broadside by a bolt of lightning from the storm. And this knocks out main power for a second. You know, it's like one of those, like everything goes black and then sort of turns back on slowly.
A lightning strike can't damage a commercial airliner, and yet wharf lightning from a stellar nursery can.
Yeah. What gives, man? God
don't
damn,
know.
I'm already done with my second can of beer. How is that possible?
You're complying extremely with the timer. I'm doing a bunch of like double shots and 2-minute off kind of squishiness that you would expect from someone like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the open world video game player that is off in the wilderness before the story can get anywhere near you.
I love this cascade failure that you see in progress. The rhythmicness of it, the sequence of it. This thing is popping bolts off of sections until it gets to that compartment where that one guy was messing with the telephone cable, and it stops. And holy shit, what? I thought it was going to blow up the whole ship. So did everyone else.
Yeah.
No, it stopped right there. Amazing.
Amazing. Everything is going to be just fine. We have nothing to worry about, team.
Nope.
In fact, we're so unconcerned about the safety of the ship going forward that we're going to let the chief medical officer go over to the transport for a sleepover with his new religious friends.
How much did you want that Call at Midnight by Dr. Phlox wanting to come home early?
Mom, Dad, the blanket over here is scratchy. I don't like it.
Their food is weird. That never happens. But I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Face of the fart. And you will never take the greatest gin alive. Ben would rather die.
What? Meanwhile, Trip talks to the captain, gets him down to the engineering section, and shows the captain that he has discovered sort of an anti-sabot in the gears of his machine. What is the opposite of a wooden shoe, Adam?
Well, if this were Star Trek Discovery, you'd want to draw the area around the shoe. Which seems fairly obvious, right?
Yeah. Oh, spoiler alert, by the way.
It doesn't take any great intelligence to figure out what they're after here.
Yeah.
It's funny how no one in engineering cops to saving the day. That says something about the people who work in engineering. Like
a lot of Ben Harrisons over there.
No one willing to take the credit for something good.
And a lot of Ben Harrisons over on the other ship, too, because they asked Captain Fraddock to look into it. And he's like, yeah, no, I asked all the religious wackos that I'm Ubering around, and none of them know anything about this.
I love Fraddock is like, yeah, no one's copped to it, but if someone were, would you say that there's a reward of some kind for the person who did the good deed?
I love this guy.
He's great. One of my favorite weird characters in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like they're doing a really good job of that in Enterprise specifically. The alien of the week just being like an eccentric, silly guy.
An eccentric but not silly guy is Daniels, and he runs into Archer in a corridor, and this fucking server has all kinds of ideas about the Suliban and the Saboteur, and Archer's like, whoa, you make my eggs. You make them great, but I kind of don't give a shit about your opinions here.
Why don't you talk to one of my bridge officers? I'm a little busy right now. It's important.
Daniels makes it pretty clear pretty fast that he is not from here. He, once taking Archer into his quarters, reveals that he's a future man.
Tin Man.
And he takes a Halliburton suitcase out of his locker, and he pulls out a weird device. And it's one of those things you give a sleeping baby that projects a bunch of Starfield shit on the walls. Like, this really impresses Archer, though. You know, it feels like adults could benefit from something like this. It's really neat.
Yeah. He calls this his temporal observatory, and he like points, and he's like, this is where I'm from. 900 years from now.
Time travel.
There's some really fun vagaries tossed around. Like, are you human? And he's like, you know, by some definitions. And Archer is psyched about this because he's like learning something that nobody else knows. And he's like doing that thing where he's like kind of completing the sentences. Like, so the temporal Cold War is all about preserving the temporal compact or whatever. Like, there are laws that govern time travel, and some people are following and some people are not, and we got to stop the people that are not. Obviously, I'm Captain Archer. I'm into that.
But at the same time, though, Archer is kind of dumb. And there is a vibe to this moment that's like, wow, future man, this is all neat and everything, but why are you telling me this? And that's when Daniels tells him that Silic is the one who stopped the reactor breach, and that Daniels' mission is to capture Silic and bring him to justice. And would Archer like to help Daniels set up the ship with like a Suliban detector to make that easy? Sure. But the thing is, like, that's a lot of trust to extend, right? Because Daniels is going to have to plug into sensitive areas of the ship. And Archer's like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but I'm going to have to involve some other people in this little plan.
Yeah.
And so T'Pol and Trip Tucker are those people.
So Archer reads them in on the temporal Cold War, and T'Pol is skeptical.
Extremely skeptical.
Not buying this whole time travel is a real thing that actually exists premise.
I love T'Pol in this episode. Very few minutes on screen. Every minute is, I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't think so.
Prove it, assholes.
Boy, that sounded like a Bill Burr, didn't it? Nah, I don't think so. No time travel for me.
Yeah, like, and asking good questions like, why would we trust this guy over anyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, why trust this guy over me, T'Pol, who knows a lot more than y'all?
Yeah. Wow. She should have that on, like, her business card. T'Pol, who knows a lot more than y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Trip in this scene, because Archer's like, you would have loved being in Daniel's quarters. He had this thing that you give to a little baby to help them sleep that projects shit all over the walls. And Trip's like, yeah, I impregnated an alien lady in a rowboat in a room kind of like how you're describing. Like, this is a thing. This is a technology in the universe that doesn't exactly move my needle.
Yeah.
And also, why is Silic in trouble when he saved the ship and everyone's lives earlier? That part doesn't quite add up.
Yeah, like, and T'Pol is like, why, you know, this guy could have done the thing he claims to be his goal by just not letting Silic get on board the ship in the first place.
You just trust him because you like his eggs, man.
Wow. And because he has kind of like a round, friendly face.
You know what? I'm going to go pretty hard at this opinion, but like a big deal is made over Archer liking soft scrambled eggs. Soft scramble's the only kind of scrambled eggs.
Yeah. A hard scramble? Get that shit the fuck out of here.
Get that shit in a fucking chafing dish in a hotel room lobby where it belongs.
Any hard scrambled egg is indistinguishable from powdered eggs.
If you're going to hard scramble my eggs, I'd rather have a hard boiled egg because at least I'm walking around eating eggs.
Exactly. So Phlox has really taken to this group. We learned that he's been participating in their chants and their alien yoga.
I think I strained a leg muscle, but it was well worth it.
Trip and T'Pol, like, for some reason have agreed to start working with Daniels on, like, plugging all of his shit into their ship. So they're modifying the sensors, and it means a lot of warp power needs to be rerouted to things. There's some fun, like, shop talk while they're doing this. Like, Trip sees a sports almanac opportunity in knowing a guy like Daniels.
All I have to do is bet on the winner, and I'll never lose.
Oh,
I am seeing some real dismay on your face right now.
We're almost down 2 pints, which is pretty much on schedules.
Yeah.
16 ounces in each pint. If I'm doing 1 ounce shots, we're pretty much there, which I measured out 1.5 ounce shots in my little cup. And I think I might be, given the variation in time and pour.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much on it.
Good job. Yeah, we've hit the halfway point in our power hour here. Burp break.
Where are we at in our notes?
Daniels is walking through walls with his weird hand device.
It's the power glove, Ben. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I love this moment and how There's no dialogue about it. It's just two people watching a guy using a power glove and being like, amazing.
Yeah. Archer makes it back to his quarters, and Porthos is real cranky. And Archer interprets this as Porthos being mad that he did not get fed on schedule.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah.
Hey, Archer's a bad dog owner. Prove me wrong.
I mean, many could argue that I'm a bad dog owner for having moved to the neighborhood I moved to, which is full of fireworks that are terrifying to my dog. But it's in fact that Porthos is upset because Silic is there and like cloaked in the room.
Ben, oh no. God damn it. No. I have pulled a 6.5% brown ale.
Oh,
Blimey. That's quite a lot, isn't it, John?
From Bald Man Brewing Company. It's no fault of the Bald Man Brewing Company that I've done this. They are, of course, out of Eagan, Minnesota. Oh, God. Oh, God.
is that Captain Picard's brewing company?
Why have I done this? I've pulled 3 straight pint cans. I've not pulled a short boy out. Ben, when I reach back in there, I'm going to pull a shorty hoping to God that it is a fucking long drink.
Yeah. 6.5 is a spicy meatball, my friend.
God, this is even darker than the last one. I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm going to die out here.
Jesus.
This is not how this was supposed to go.
Oh, man.
Hey, Ben, porch beers from now on is how we should play this game. This is not nice.
I mean, yeah.
Are you drinking porch beers now?
I'm a Modelo and a Tecate now, and I'm starting my next Modelo right now.
God, you're so fucking lucky.
So Silic shows up and he's like, hey, man, you are trusting Daniels probably because he like looks like you, but you should actually trust me because I didn't kill you. And that's got to be worth something. And also I saved your ship from getting exploded by that lightning bolt. And I love the mind games of this because he's not like overselling this at all. And like you're left to wonder, like, did he save the ship from the lightning bolt to save his own skin? Did he know about the lightning bolt ahead of time? Did he get super lucky? Like, what went on with his decision to unplug that specific cable at that specific moment?
If you're just going off of the facts, it's got to make you wonder, or at least question, which horse you're backing here.
Right.
Because Silic has saved your life twice, basically. What's Daniels ever done besides make you good eggs?
I think that this scene would be so much more effective if we didn't get that cold open with Silic getting tortured for not destroying the Klingon Empire.
Great call.
Because if we didn't know anything more about Silic than what we saw in the last episode, and it was like a little bit vague in our memory that there's shadowy, like evil-coded figure pulling the strings on Silic, it would have been like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like, why do we think Daniels is right just because he's like, you know, a friendly face, basically.
Make it more mysterious. Yeah. Also, I don't like that dude in the shadows effect. That's no good.
Mm-hmm.
Show us that guy.
Let's see the guy.
Yeah.
I bet he's handsome.
I mean, the more Silic talks, the more I found myself getting on his level. Like, is there even a temporal Cold War? Man?
Yeah.
Can you even trust this guy?
Well, and like I sort of was hoping he would start to make a like, these guys are trying to like impugn our rights to even do the things we want to do kind of argument or something. Like make the case that what Daniels represents is some kind of authoritarian situation that Archer might kind of naturally react against and make it a more complicated situation for him. But instead, Silic just shoots Archer. In this era, you can fire an unauthorized phaser aboard a starship.
You really can.
He gets knocked out. We cut down to Phlox in the dining hall, leading the benediction for the religious ceremony of watching the plasma flare. or the neutron blast, I should say. And he's just having a grand old time.
He's great in this scene.
Yeah.
As a kind of a religious tourist, field promoted into saying the thing that everyone says after, in a call and response kind of way that would be familiar to folks who've ever been to like that kind of religious arrangement.
Yeah, just like the first time I ever said the Kiddush, like from memory in front of my in-laws, like it was a nice feeling. Like, I know, I don't know what any of this means in Hebrew, but I can pronounce it phonetically.
Over in engineering, the modifications they've made to the ship have revealed Suliban life signs, and Trip Tucker sees a predator man up in the catwalk.
Yeah.
Daniels in this scene is great. He clears the compartment, and unfortunately, that leaves Daniels alone with Silic, and Silic shoots him pretty fast, and he looks like he explodes, doesn't he?
RSVP Daniels.
And around the corner, Trip has watched this, pretty sure he's dead, and he blows in a call to Archer, and he doesn't respond, because you remember he was shot by Silic earlier. He calls to Dr. Phlox to meet them in Archer's quarters, thinking that there's going to be medical emergency there, and there is. They stick a hypo spray on Archer's neck, and they wake him up and tell him that Daniels is dead.
Yeah.
I love how they're going through this, and Archer does that thing that feels so natural, which is like, are our party guests still here? Because I would really like them to go. Like, I would just like to be alone now.
Yeah. It's really wild that Silic was just chilling on Fraddock's ship. I mean, I guess like the travels of the NX-01 entrepreneur are like historic enough that they know where it was at any given time in history. And so they can just position Silic to be there. And yeah, so they call up Fraddock and they're like, is everybody back? And he's like, no, like nobody's come aboard in over an hour.
Are you kidding me? I would know. I fucking love it when those guys are gone.
Yeah.
Really annoying.
So Silic is still aboard the entrepreneur, and they're like, okay, we got to find this fucking guy. And they go to Daniels's quarters and find that his temporal observatory gadget is missing from his Halliburton briefcase. So the manhunt is afoot. And while they're looking for him, we catch up with Silic, like, gooping around on the ship, trying to get to the launch bay for one of the shuttles. He's trying to get off the ship. He can squeeze through, like, the tiniest of spaces.
Yeah, he doesn't need the power glove to go places. He can just go in the cracks of doors. Archer, though, decides to try on the power glove because it's so bad. I just love this scene. Archer doesn't know how this works. He's only seen this be used once, and putting it on, he kind of like uses his hand to like test. He like pushes his hand through the wall. He's like, good enough for me. And then like launches his whole body through to go after Silic.
Yeah.
And he finds himself in a compartment with Silic right after this, and he's got him at phaser point, and a banger from this cosmic event kind of tosses them to the ground, and that's what starts a Star Trek fight between them. I had a question, like if Archer never stopped wearing the power glove, what's to stop Silic from like punching him and him flying through a wall? It seems like the walls work again.
Yeah.
After he gets to this area.
Well, I was dying for Archer to do like a punch into Silic's body and then turn off the power glove, and he like goes corporeal again and like has like carved a hole in his punch.
I know you don't watch The Boys for a variety of obvious reasons, but an episode of The Boys I watched last night is so gruesome about this very thing. Like a character just blurps away and appears inside people's bodies and they just explode. Oh, and this happens over and over and over again. And that's the effect that you just couldn't get away with on UPN at this moment in time.
Meanwhile, a Suliban ship has shown up in the vicinity, and Silic has like gotten his hands on the gadget from the Halliburton briefcase, and Archer gets his gun and goes ahead and shoots the future tech instead of shooting Silic. And I like this move because it's like, I don't know 100% if you're the good guy or the bad guy, but if I destroy that, like, you don't get the thing you want. And I can at least, like, slow this down.
I hate the suggestion that the sidearm that Archer uses only has one quote-unquote bullet that he can shoot at a time. Like, why wouldn't you also shoot this guy and also the thing you shot out of his hand? Because that just allows Silic to escape. The shootout happens in the mudroom of the launch bay, and then after it happens, he runs toward the launch bay itself, and he opens up those launch bay doors, and you get that scene that you love in science fiction movies and TV shows. Once those doors open,
yeah,
the air starts washing out, and hair starts flying everywhere.
Yeah, but like,
it's great.
It made me really appreciate the decision of Alien and, you know, TNG when it was Dr. Beverly and Geordi in the cargo bay or whatever. Like, having a person with very long hair in the scene where the compartment is depressurizing is such an effective way of illustrating that. And Archer has such short, close-cropped military hair that it just it doesn't really sell, you know? Oh, my buddy, you got your long drink.
I finally pulled a long drink. Is this going to be the last one?
I don't know. We're at
4 pints and a regular can is what I got.
We're about to take our 45th shots of this power hour.
This is going to be like an oasis in the desert. Oh, long drink, you're my only friend.
After depressurizing the compartment, Silic jumps down out of the door. And I was kind of wondering, like, how the gravity works on these ships, because he falls through the door like he's falling toward gravity. And I guess is then weightless, like the second he crosses the threshold of the bay or something.
Which would suggest that he had a velocity, like that continued once he was out there. But he seems to act like he's wearing a wingsuit once he's out in space, though. He seems maneuverable, right?
Right, like he's skydiving or something. But
maybe that's a callback to what Archer told him earlier in the compartment about, like, one of his power-ups being wings or whatever.
Right. He makes it to his little ship. Archer also lost the power glove in the depressurization scene.
I don't love that.
Yeah. So all of the future tech is presumably off the ship.
I think I'd feel better if I threw up.
Oh, no.
But I'm going to hold it together.
Oh, buddy.
I just feel so full. It's the fullness. Next time we do this, I'm not doing these brown and then browner and then brownest beers. That was the wrong order, Ben.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah. Guinness Power Hour is not recommended by your physician.
Do you think we're going to enjoy Breadstick Power Hour more than this?
God.
Or less than this?
I am so perversely curious about Breadstick Power Hour.
I am too.
Next scene is Archer kind of pondering the clock that he was gifted by the religious pilgrims. Interesting to come back to that imagery of a timepiece given everything, man.
Whoa. Yeah.
Talking to T'Pol about everything that's happened.
He's like, how am I going to write this mission summary? And T'Pol's like, well, you could give it to fucking Mayweather, like you've done before. Just give him your work.
Poor schmuck. Probably enjoy it.
Yeah. Whatever happens, they're going to wait until the morning. That's what they agree on here.
There's sort of an eerie feeling as Archer orders a seal put on the door of Daniel's old room. Like, his roommate reassigned quarters and that room sealed off because, like, who fucking knows what's in there, man?
How much work gets done by the music in this scene? Because these piano notes in this order always means disturbing unsolved mystery, right?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't watched X-Files in a while, but it felt X-Filesian in its conclusion to the story.
Yeah, and just that, like, lingering shot, the very slow dolly back on the huge locking mechanism that they mount on the door.
I know.
Is just like, holy fucking shit. What haunted shit do they have aboard their ship?
Are you surprised by the size of that lock?
That Locke is a beefy daddy.
It seems like it's counter to what you're trying to do. If you don't want to attract attention, you probably shouldn't put a Locke that size onto those quarters, right?
Have you seen that lock picking guy on YouTube ever? There's like a guy who like, I think he's called the lock picking lawyer. I don't know what the lawyer part has to do with the lock picking, but he like shows his ability to pick like any bike lock or whatever. And I'm dying to send this thing to him, see if he can crack it.
Jeez. It seems like a fun ability to have.
Yeah, it really does. But was this episode a fun episode to watch, Adam?
I love time travel episodes. And I like this time travel episode fine. I wish I cared more about the Suliban.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird, like, for how little screen time Daniels has gotten, I care more about Daniels and his people than I do about the Suliban. And I don't think that should be happening. I don't think that's the intent of this episode or this season.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is.
I think it's the knockdown plaster loaf that the Suliban have is so yucky to look at. It's like a big part of why.
I think it's because it's the ghostly guy that you can't see giving them orders.
Yeah.
Like, they are obviously less interesting than that guy. And so when you center the Suliban in a story, you're like, cool, thanks for giving me the leftovers of what's important about this mission.
Yeah.
What I really want to know about is that dude who's talking with the weird voice, giving them orders. That's a problem.
Well, yeah, and like the destruction of the Klingon Empire, it's interesting because that's like recontextualized so much by Discovery specifically, like knowing like what a horrific
I don't remember.
What a horrific experience the Klingon War was for the Federation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's like a near-term bad situation regarding the Klingons, but then a long-term good situation for the Federation regarding the Klingons because they become allies.
Is Daniels really dead? Hard to say. Doesn't seem that way. Can a time traveler be killed? That's a pretty big question, I think.
Indeed.
I mean, he lives in different timelines, obviously, just as we all do, right?
Somewhat.
I feel like I'm barely living right now, and yet I am living for the long drink, which is saving me. It's so good.
What's the ABV on the long drink?
That's a good question.
While you're looking into that, I will tell you how...
5.5?
Oh my God, what the hell?
Woo! You know what? I'll take a 5.5 that tastes this delicious. This is a hot weather beverage. The rest of them are Seattle drinks, and I think you know what I mean by that. Like,
yeah, I get
it's
that.
cold, it's rainy, you're in a dark bar, dark lager.
Yeah.
I thought stuffing my bag with dark lagers would be a good idea. It was not. Dark lager is just code for super dark beer.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Well, I thought the episode was really good. This is like, I don't really like time travel episodes, but I liked this kind of time travel episode where everything about the time travel is feeling like it is coming from an unreliable narrator. Like super future people who have mastered time travel versus somewhat future people who have not, and like the people who have not can't quite do everything that the super future people can. And like every bit of exposition we get about that from Daniels, we just kind of have to take his word for it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Do you think something that works against this show is that Archer has not presented himself as someone who is smart, and thus time travelers are obviously smarter than Archer, but also so is everyone else? I feel like the big blowaway of Daniels and Archer is muted a little bit because, yeah, Archer's a fucking dope. Like, T'Pol's smarter than him. You know?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's smarter than Archer. Like,
does Archer live to the end of Enterprise? Go ahead and spoil it, so I can stop rooting for it.
I'm not gonna spoil character development for you, Adam. And also, I don't remember.
I just kind of feel like Archer should die. I think it would be interesting if he did. You know what? And also give Porthos to someone else who can take care of him. Porthos obviously doesn't care about Archer, given that he was shot down in his own quarters and Porthos barked, I think, once.
You know what's perfectly fine for dogs to eat is a nice soft scrambled egg.
Yeah, I know that.
Whoever is bringing food to Archer should be also, like, I understand as a captain, you can't always get back to your quarters whenever the fuck you want. Like, have your fucking ensign hospitality look after your dog also.
Ripley does not love a soft scrambled egg. She has been going through some stomach issues recently.
Oh, just like Daddy.
We're a ground chicken and rice household when that happens.
Yeah.
And it's because eggs or whatever. She doesn't care about the eggs, but she'll love a chicken and rice. So that's what's happening in this household.
Wow. We are into our final 4 shots, Adam. Do you want to get into the Priority 1 inbox and see what's going on in there?
I got a challenge for you. Let's do 4 shots consecutively and then
get
do
out
the
of
Priority
this?
1 messages. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Brutal, but I respect it.
I got the can and the glass in each hand. Let's hit these, Ben.
Siki saki, oi, oi, oi. Oh. Why did you suggest this?
Oh, God.
Oh, it sucked.
It did finish the can, though.
Okay. Goodbye, power.beer.
Woo!
I don't need you anymore.
We did it.
We did it, Joe.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Need a supplemental income.
Supplemental income?
Supplemental.
Supplemental.
Yeah, it's extra.
The interest alone could be enough to buy this ship.
The power hour is over, which means Priority 1 messages can begin. Ben, our first one is of a promotional nature. Their message goes like this. You've been a strong, stalwart part of our weird internet family, and we're all better for knowing you. The drops you made, the music you shared, the slots you spun, and the joy we all felt when Riley and Dom were born have left a lasting impression on the FODs. We'll miss you, and we'll never forget you. You have been and always shall be our friend. Thank you for letting us be a part of your life. Betsy and the twins, know that your husband, Dad, has loved and loved you so deeply.
Oh my God.
We'll always be here for you.
God.
Of all episodes.
Oh my God.
A fuck cancer memorial. A fuck cancer memorial message comes on a Mornhammered episode. It's so... You know what? What better tribute to someone than a Power Hour episode? The USS Hood Discord is who sent this message. And fuck cancer indeed.
Yeah, I don't know what to say other than our next Priority 1 message is from Lieutenant Durst, former U.S. Navy, and it's to Ben and Adam. Goes like this.
It's another fucking memorial message. Lieutenant Durst, when your fighter jet went down over the horizon, it made me think a lot about what mattered to me.
Yeah, it was the 21 beer and 1 long drink salute. On the most recent Naked Now episode, every time Ben moved in the bathtub before speaking, I had a Pavlovian expectation of an Echeb's brother bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the unintended smiles and laughs throughout what was already a great episode.
You know what's amazing is we have so many FODs in the armed services.
It's true.
Like, our show has really penetrated out into that life.
It's one of those things where you're always like, why did we get some downloads in Djibouti? And it's like, oh, rip, because there's a fucking base
because
there.
they got to please that booty.
Yeah. But thank you, Lieutenant Durst Rhett, for that message. Sorry for splashing around in my bathtub.
You know, given this is a Power Hour episode and that was from Lieutenant Durst, I want to say, listen to them all. Of course I did. Just a little reference to the Jinx there.
Yeah, we're picking up what you're putting down.
Ben, our final priority one message is from Obsidian Phoenix. It's to Ben and Adam, and their message goes like this. Thanks for everything, guys. This podcast has made my life better. To those listening, if it's made yours better too, please support Ben and Adam. Wow, Obsidian Phoenix?
Hell yeah.
What a way to put it. What a way to put it after my drunken memorializing.
Oh my God.
At the top of the P1s.
You didn't start strong, but you finished strong, Adam.
I love that our show makes people feel better in their lives. It makes me feel better to make the show. And that's the truth. If you've got anything to say in that regard, you can go to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron. Write a message. We'll read it. I can't promise you the timing. Maybe during a Mornhammered episode. But look, whatever kind of episode it is, we're going to do the best we can to convey the feeling behind it. And Priority 1 messages go a long way in supporting the production of the show, and we really appreciate everyone who does. So thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Adam.
What's that, Ben?
Did you find yourself a drunk Shimoda?
Incredible.
Drunk Shimoda!
I think I'm going to make mine Porthos. Porthos just saw his owner, his caretaker, his what have you, shot down in front of him. But guess what? Porthos has still not been fed.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that Porthos is going to eat that face.
Yeah, if Porthos was a cat, Archer's face would be done for here.
I think it is very telling that Porthos doesn't exactly bark, for a long time anyway, when Archer goes down. And to me, I think that earns you a drunk Shimoda.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Porthos should go to someone else. I'm just going to say that.
Hoshi is my drunk Shimoda for this episode. Not a lot to do in this one, but what she does get to do is sort of messy. She kind of pimps Mayweather into sitting in the big chair just so that he can get humiliated for sitting in the big chair.
Yeah.
You know, Hoshi has no skin in the game. She just does this for the lulls.
What? The lulls. What? So you can take that cookie and blow it out your ass.
Yeah, indeed.
Face of the fart.
Adam, it's time to talk about next week's episode. You, of course, will be going to gach.biz/game and hopefully rolling a better square than I did.
I'll roll a better square.
While I tell you about Star Trek Enterprise Season 1, Episode 12, Silent Enemy. An ill-prepared Enterprise is under attack by mysterious aliens with unknown motivations.
Question for you. How would you know if the Enterprise was unprepared? Seems impossible.
Mm-hmm.
What is very possible is that I roll a 100-sided die that catapults us into something crazy, like today's episode. A Mornhammered episode out of nowhere. That's what can happen in this game. If you want to follow along, you can go to gach.biz/game. We are presently on square 57. And I'm about to roll a 100-sided die that could send us anywhere on this game board. Here we go.
You're required to learn as you play. Roll.
Let's do it.
Ben, I've rolled a 65.
Chula!
Did I win?
Hardly.
It is on the doorstep of a looking at each other during in-person episode, but as it is, just a regular old episode for you and me.
Okay.
I am so grateful that it is that kind of episode.
Oof.
Back where we belong.
On the edge, where we gotta be.
Yeah, love it.
Oh, what a relief. If you're relieved to be at the end of this and would still like to support what we do for some reason, MaximumFun.org/join is where you go to do that.
Yep.
We hugely appreciate everybody that supports on a monthly basis and reward y'all with monthly bonus episodes.
Can I tell you something? We need your support.
We do.
I know we usually only ask once a year during the Max Fun Drive. Could really use it.
Yeah.
Shit's gotten really expensive.
Sure has. You can also support us by making a nice 5-star review in iTunes.
Yeah.
Recently, Adam came up with the idea of, hey, go on your podcast app and throw us a nice review and say what a fave app of yours is. I thought this was a brilliant idea.
That's something to say if you don't know what to say.
Give somebody a place to get on board. We got to thank Adam Ragusia, who made our original music. We got to thank Bill Tilley, our temporal Cold War time consigliere. Got to thank Rob Adler, who runs all of our social media accounts at Greatest Trek all over the internet, and running our new newsletter. We're doing a newsletter once a month now. Sign up for that at gach.biz/mail. Lots of great reasons to sign up, but maybe best of all is a little discount on podshop.biz.
Yeah, you're going to love that. Towels are flying off the shelves.
Yeah. Good towels.
They're good towels. I'm trying myself off with those towels all the time.
Yeah, Adam got one. He likes it.
I like it, okay?
And with that... Oh, shit. Fuck. What am I doing?
Fuck.
I'm fucking faded. A great big thanks. The most important thanks to give to Windy Pretty, our producer, who is editing whatever this is to make it sound coherent. And all of the friends of DeSoto who participate in all of the social media groups across the internet. You heard from many of them on our Code 47 at the beginning of the episode. Great groups of folks, and we love them all. DrunkShamoted.com for the Discord, Facebook.com/GreatestGen for the Facebook group, Reddit.com/r/GreatestGen for the Reddit. And with that, we will be back at you next week with another great episode of Star Trek Enterprise and an episode of the Greatest Generation Enterprise that is ill prepared.
I resemble that remark.
Good job by you, Adam.
Good job by you, Ben.
Ugh.
We did it.
Make it so.
I did it all for the Wookiee. What? The Wookiee. That's a different sci-fi franchise. Why would I say that?
Maximum Fun.
A worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported directly by you.